Buenos dias. Good morning. It is the morning of day 10. We forgot, maybe 10 or 11, we forgot to blog last night. We are staying at a lovely Presbyterian retreat center here in Honduras. And we're all a little bit tired, a little bit cranky, a little bit uncomfortable with our unfamiliar surroundings, hence the face mask. It's just helping me feel a little bit normal this late in the trip. Overall, yesterday was a really good day. One of my favorite parts of the trip was we visited the Association for a More Just Society, which I believe was founded by American expats. So the purpose of this organization is to identify what we call systematic injustice. So this is things like corrupt police officers, corrupt politicians, inefficient governments, basically problems that citizens on their own can't fix. And this organization is comprised of like lawyers and social workers and psychologists and urban planners kind of all coming together and thinking about how do we identify problems, how do we propose solutions, how do we implement solutions, and how do we follow up on them. So yeah, it was really good to see an organization that is working for change and actually accomplishing that change. Sometimes when you're on trips like this, you kind of get inundated by the bad stories, so it was really good to hear some of the hopeful stories. In the afternoon, we heard stories from returned migrants. That was probably the most difficult part of the day, just kind of hearing what the journey was like and why they returned and what their life looks like now. I'm still kind of processing those stories. And then in a very unusual turn of events, we went out to dinner on Ash Wednesday. And normally on Ash Wednesday, you're kind of eating very simply. Maybe some people are not eating meat. Well, we had an entire sheet tray of about 3 different animals worth of meat. And it was really startling to see the difference between how wealthy Americans are able, not even wealthy Americans, how Americans are able to celebrate and eat out, and how typical Hondurans eat. So yeah, it was a good day. I'm glad that our trip here is winding down. I'm excited to go back to the U.S. and share some of the stories we've heard. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
So Rebecca gave a really great summary of yesterday, so I'm going to pull out some of the takeaways that I got from those visits with the Association for a More Just Society and the meetings with our Presbyterian sisters and brothers here who had some migration experiences. I too really appreciated seeing what the HAS is doing in their offices in Tegucigalpa, the capital of Honduras, and it was good to see the way that nonprofits, they call them NGOs in most of the world, are working together. They're connecting with one another. They're connecting with the various Christian denominations to network, because there's strength in numbers, and that, as many of you know, if you're a congregation member or a colleague in our presbytery, you know that that's something I'm passionate about, is connecting organizations and churches together, because we can get more done if we work together. So that was a really great meeting, and I saw Kat. And then when we met with the people who had migration experiences, one tried to get to the U.S. and ran out of money partway here, which is very common. It can cost up to $12,000 or $15,000 to migrate to the United States. We also heard from someone who has tried to get visas just to come meet with people in churches in the U.S. and can't get visas to come do that. There was a youth group that was trying to come meet their sister congregation in the U.S. One person out of, I think it was 6 or 7, was able to get a visa to come, even though they had paperwork from the U.S. stating exactly what they were going to be doing. We take for granted the fact that we can pretty much go anywhere in the world without having to worry about whether or not we can get a visa. Even if you have to get it ahead of time, you go online, you buy the visa, you're good to go. the American passport is very, very powerful. And then another person we heard from is a local pastor who was scammed by someone who said he could get him to the U.S. for 6 months to work through this particular program, and then he could earn some money to pay off some debts, support his family, and then come back. In Honduras, most people who leave don't want to stay left; they want to come back, and he got scammed out of a whole lot of money for doing that. And so there's many different layers that we don't talk about, that we don't necessarily know about in the U.S. And I, like Rebecca, am looking forward to getting home and sharing those stories. I'll be sharing those, some here on this channel, some at church, just through sermons and things like that. And if you want to hear more of them, just ask me. I'll share many over coffee and meals together. I'll talk to you more, or later today.
Not today, but we won't all be together. Yeah, somebody has a March birthday in the group, and it's got a 0 at the end of it.
Ha ha ha!